All right, everybody, welcome back to the after show of She-Hulk. I am your main partner, Jeff. I got my other partner over here, Kevin. And hey, Abomaste, everybody. This was episode
Namaste.
7. I got to ask you, Kevin, what did you think of this one?
Oh man, I had mixed issues. I mean, at the end of the episode, I liked it, of course.
Yeah.
Totally enjoyable, but I have a little bit more to nitpick this week. And it's not new things, it's just stuff that we talked about last week that is continuing. And no, it's
Yeah.
not no Daredevil, kids.
Yeah. As opposed to me, who was looking at YouTube stuff and thought he saw the promo trailer for this episode, and it really wasn't. It was some fake one, knockoff one, and I erroneously told Kevin, I think this is the Daredevil episode. After watching this, we're probably not getting him to the last episode. I'm pretty confident he's showing up in the last episode.
Yes. And what they released last week, or what I saw that was supposed to be for this week, was Abomination outside. So Blonsky is supposed to turn at some point, unless they photoshopped that. I don't know. Marvel's really good about swerving people.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on with the marketing for this show that's just seemingly zigzagging across the spectrum, just kind of like the tone of every episode we've had since episode 2.
Yes, and that's one of the nitpicks is this does tend to go back and forth on whether or not we're in plot or filler, but then everything ties together in the next episode or ties together at the end.
Yeah.
But we have 2 episodes left, just like always with Marvel. I'm really worried with 20-minute episodes that we're going to get the reveal of the big bad next episode, and then a 20-minute fight, 15-minute fight out of a 20-minute episode for the last episode.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm dreading with this show.
Yeah, and the only way you can really stick the landing at this point is that needs to be that fight scene needs to be badass and almost the entire episode.
Yeah, and that's why they really should have started with an episode prior. They did that with WandaVision, introducing Agatha, and that worked out really well.
Yeah, that was well done.
And of course, those were also longer episodes too.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. But I mean, like WandaVision really kind of set the bar for me.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So it's like, I truly believe WandaVision was a perfect TV show, because for as much as you wanted it to be a movie, it would not have worked as a movie. It only would have worked as a TV show. Yeah. And they were able to do so much more with the storytelling there.
Yeah, that's the benefit of doing a show, is you have room to expand and grow and build up for something else. Where not all of these shows for Marvel have successfully done that. Some have done it to varying degrees of success, and some have completely fallen flat, like Hawkeye. I mean, yes, we got a Kingpin. It's not the Kingpin we really wanted. We got Echo, but it wasn't really a great Hawkeye thing. But I'm not really a big Hawkeye guy. Most people really weren't big Hawkeye fans and wanted to see a show of his own. Then you got middling things like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then you got WandaVision. Where this ranks on that list, we'll see how it ends, but right now it's at the lower tier for me. But doesn't mean I'm still not enjoying the show. It just means
quality-wise,
Quality-wise, it has nothing to do with acting. It has to do with how they decided to write this out and pace it out.
Yeah, and that's really the issue, is the pacing. And I'm just going to call it that from now on, is because we talked about Marvel's formula.
Yes.
And they're sticking to it. And they shouldn't do that, because that becomes predictable. And you're not swerving people at that point. That's just like going to an M. Night Shyamalan movie and not expecting a fucking twist ending.
What? There's a twist ending in all of his movies?
Yeah, right?
Like, they don't suck? Oh.
You
know what? I'm kidding. Some of them are good.
Say what you will about Mr. Shyamalan. He had the good grace to know that Indiana Jones 4 should not have been directed by him, and he bowed out and he didn't get suckered with that fucking horrible movie.
Well, he did give us signs, so he did give us that anyway.
Siggins. Yeah, no, my wife really loves that one. But no, it's I don't know quite yet where I want to rate this. Certainly it was
Yeah.
higher for me than say Ms. Marvel was, since I haven't even finished that yet.
Okay.
I do like Moon Knight, but I haven't gotten to Moon Knight yet because I actually want to pay attention to that and not hear my kids' tablets.
Oh, yeah, I can
Yeah.
understand that.
So, but this I'm always a Hulk fan first and foremost. So it's like I have a lot of faith writing on this show, and I am enjoying it. But I'm not sure about some of their choices. Like again, the pacing,
Yeah.
alienating audience members, which I get it. You're alienating people that are not going to be fucking happy one way or the other.
Right. The show they kind of said it was going to be like this comedic sitcom of a show, and it's just not. I think while I was watching this episode, after a few minutes, I'm like, the show is just not going to be funny. I'm just gonna sit back, just just watch it and just see what happens. Like I don't know. I feel like I removed my expectations for this show because it
Mm.
really hasn't met any of them, even though I really didn't have any. But other than, oh hey, we started off with main Hulk, Bruce Banner Hulk, and then it just shifted to her, which this is her show, of course. But I feel like when I was watching this particular episode, something inside me just clicked and was like, you know what, this just isn't gonna be what you think it's gonna be. Maybe just sit back and watch it and see what happens. And I don't know, taking a little more of my expectations out on, hey, I expect Daredevil, or I expect this to be funny, or I expect some badass scene. When I took out all those expectations, I found I really liked the episode, even though it was largely a filler episode.
Yes.
But we seem to still be stuck in this loop of we're trying to feel sympathy for Jen, yet for we've been doing this for approximately what, 7 episodes now? After 3 episodes, we should already have enough sympathy for Jen as a character
Yeah.
and as She-Hulk, and she's been used. Hopefully, this is the end of that cycle because I don't want to see this for the next 2 episodes. We need to focus on the main story, the main villain, which I think we're getting there, albeit slowly, and we need to get to some sort of a resolution. If it ends with like a cliffhanger, then why the hell did you waste the whole season just to build up in the last couple episodes due to typical Marvel formula? But
To make people watch the shit.
right, but at least we tied in at the end of the overall story, and I kind of saw that coming. If you have been watching sci-fi genre shows for years, or even a normal show for years, you kind of see these patterns on, that guy's way too nice, he's gonna do something, and the only way you could turn an expectation like that around is you don't do that. You don't fall into that pitfall or trap. And there was a point in this episode where I thought we were going into a trap, and I'm like, oh God, please don't do this. And they didn't. It's when She-Hulk was in the group for Abomaste. She was doing the group therapy, and she reverted to Jen for a split second. I'm like, oh shit, what if this has all been some elaborate setup, and now you're surrounded by 6 villains who could now subdue you, jab you with a thing, get the blood out, and just like completely overwhelm you before you can turn. And they didn't do that. They actually stuck with it. So I'll give them a point on the writing of that they didn't fall into that particular kind of trope. And you know, like I said, you take out your expectations, the show does become a little more enjoyable. We're just kind of waiting to see where we go from here.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot to love about this episode.
Oh yeah,
I mean, my only gripe is the pacing.
yeah,
We're not seeing the constant man bashing that we saw at the beginning, because again, we find out that wasn't necessarily man bashing. That was setting up characters that we were going to see again in the future.
all right. And
Um,
even to a certain extent, the group therapy scene.
yes. And the group therapy scene was fantastic because it was supervillains. It was supervillains trying to better themselves for themselves, not for parole, not for probation or whatever the fuck else. They were trying to work on their own inner peace and shit. And
Right.
that was so random that I loved it. And Tim Roth, I know I
Oh
said
my
this
God.
in the second or third episode, but if he doesn't get a best supporting actor award for this somehow, I give up. I give up. This is his best work ever. I
Yeah.
I love him in this show.
Yeah. If he wasn't in this episode, I would probably be like, that's it. I'm done. I don't know how much more I can continue because you need him for this sort of episode based on his early version of this. Now, the one thing I did kind of notice was he said he was going up to this place with seven of his friends. We only saw five.
I thought it was his wives, so is his friends.
No, it was specifically stated those wives were not
Uh-huh.
his several friends that he was going up to this ranch with.
Oh,
They were a different deal. There was several friends that he was going to do this ranch with. And we only saw five people he was um going into doing the therapy with.
perhaps he was including Princess Silk Feather.
I don't know. I don't know. I kept noticing like there's only five of them and him. So if there's supposed to be seven total, that means there's either one missing at the minimum or there's two because there were supposed to be seven friends.
Right. Um, that might be part of the reveal later on.
Yeah, I'm probably overthinking it, but like I have
No,
with most of this show.
you, you might be very well right too.
Yeah.
Um, again, I didn't expect to see Wrecker come back,
Oh
at least,
God, yeah.
especially not helping Jen. But see, that was for as fun as that was, and I truly did enjoy it because knowing Wrecker in the comics, that would never ever fucking happen.
Okay.
So this was like very spoofy to me, very funny.
Okay.
Um, I enjoyed it. Like people that are purists are probably not going to like it. I like the irony of it.
Oh, just like
Yeah.
Saracen, who's the vampire who's in the comic books, because I looked this up. We were talking before we started, and I'm like, did you know if he was like a legit vampire or not? And I looked it up, and in the Marvel comics, he's a legit vampire, but he's not a daywalker like Blade. So what's he doing hanging out in the sun? So they definitely took some liberties with some characters in this.
Yeah.
Although I
And
don't know anything about Porcupine, to be honest with you, other than he reeks.
yeah, I don't think I've ever read a book with Porcupine. Like Man Bull, sure.
Okay.
El Aguilar, sure. But
You mean
never.
El Matadoring?
Oh yeah, I love this. I can't help it.
Yeah. Oh
But
God, when he took out his sword, I just died laughing because it got all electric. And then Blonsky's just like, I warned you,
no,
no bioelectricity in group. How many times do I have to tell you? And he's just like, sorry.
it's just fucking delightful. And
God,
the
Tim
the
Roth.
the whole scene was delightful. But here's my nitpick.
Okay.
Everyone bitched that last episode was a filler episode and totally slowed down the pacing of the show. I disagreed. I said this has probably been the most plot specific episode we've seen so far. Um, and I'm gonna stick with that because this episode is probably the most fluffed up and filler I've seen.
See, I feel a little bit differently. I feel like the plot driving in that one was just a little sprinkle of overall plot, but largely a Titania kind of
Mm.
centered sort of one. This one, while it appears to be filter on or filler on the surface, I feel like it kind of is bringing a closure to Jen's character development. I hope so.
Yeah,
We've been doing this
yeah,
for 6 episodes already, but it felt like, she's finally confronting, okay, it seems like when Jen's surrounded by like superheroes or supervillains or in a courtroom, I don't know, the episodes seem to feel better. maybe they need to just focus on her interaction on this sort of level. Like she needs to be around other villains like this, or borderline anti-heroes, or villains trying to better themselves, or even just normal heroes. Like we haven't gotten to it yet, but hopefully Daredevil, we can see how she bounces off another superhero so she can get a some sort of baseline for maybe I should start hanging out with other heroes and superheroes because I know what the fuck I'm getting into. You can even have a
Right.
relationship with one. I even made the joke earlier. Luke Cage would be a better fucking match for her than any of the dudes she's been with so far.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
But
I mean that I'm just throwing that out there. I know he's more Jessica Jones territory, but that'd even be funny. Like meeting Jessica Jones, private detective. She's on a case out there, and Luke Cage just tagged along with her, and they run across her, and Jessica's like, "Bitch, quit looking at my man," and then they get into a fight.
right, right. I mean, I think you're right. She does need to interact with other heroes because that's the interesting part of this show. Now, I think that hurts She-Hulk though.
Yeah,
As the character, I think that detracts away from her because what this show really is Marvel team up.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
they would bring in Spider-Man with other characters that ordinarily wouldn't have people buying the comics as much
Hmm.
without Spider-Man in there as a guest star.
Okay,
And I don't want to see that for this episode or for this show.
right.
But if the show is going to be what you just said, that is her gig, is her interaction with the rest of the Marvel universe. Yes, that's a Marvel team up, but at least we'll have that established. Like
Right,
nobody really knows what this was going into it,
right.
other than that it was going to be a humorous thing, a court driven thing,
Hmm.
and of course fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
Those were the only clues that they gave people.
Previously on After Show. Kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do it previously on anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, that was
They did do it
no,
previously on.
they
No, good.
did, they did.
Yeah.
But my gripe is you get a little bit of the plot driven from last episode in the first 3 minutes of this episode,
Yeah.
and then in the last maybe 30-40 seconds of the episode,
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, largely the group session was filler.
Yeah, I
Not,
can see that.
but it was really good too. So
Yes.
I can't complain.
Yeah.
That's where I'm really conflicted on this show.
Yeah, I guess I could just get a little more enjoyment out of like the whole point of like the whole group therapy scene was just seeing her interact with some other like characters that she can let her guard down with. So I don't want to see more development on this for sympathy for her because we've done enough of that. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's also nice to see other dudes, being good to her.
Yes.
Finally we're getting like, all of the masculinity except for like the weird bromance going on between Man Bull and the regular.
They're codependent.
Okay, you two need to switch spots.
They are Marvel's Batman and Joker.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
need one
there
another.
was such good chemistry going on. Like it was, I was, I don't know. I was really pleased with how everything went in this episode. Granted, like you said, not much story got advanced until like the last like 45 fucking seconds. But it's almost like I hope we're not done with Tim Roth. I would love to see him in one more episode of She-Hulk here and actually see him being like, you know what, I'm gonna help her because the way they were interacting, it's like maybe he's kind of like the uncle while Bruce isn't around that she can go to. Because it feels like he legitimately is like, hey, I'm sorry. And I'm trying to be better myself. And I'm here to help you too. That's why I think he invited her back again.
I think so too. Like at first they lead you into that, making you think that there could be trouble.
I
Just
know, right?
The parole officer's a great big pussy. He doesn't want to fucking go by himself.
Oh god, that was great. Can you like Jolly Green it up or whatever? He was just
Whatever
dropping
you
all these
call it.
green puns. He's like, "Can you green up or Jolly Green it?" I'm like, dude, she's gonna smack you.
But did you notice, speaking of hulking out, she was watching The Great Muppet Caper, and it was the scene
Yes.
where Piggy gets pissed off and hulks out and bends the fucking bars.
I'm like, maybe that's supposed to be a metaphor, but it really wasn't.
I was hoping it would be like it's gonna come back later on, like she's gonna figure out how to get out of something or get inspiration from the Muppets.
All right.
That would be dope as shit.
Right.
I don't think they're that cool, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Not the Muppets, the writing staff of She-Hulk.
Well, we'll give them a 3 days to text us if they're gonna do anything like that, and if they don't, we're just gonna delete them off of our contact list.
Yeah, yeah, we should.
Delete it. Delete it.
That was the best fucking scene that I have seen of that nature since Swingers.
I know, right?
Like the whole waiting how many days until you call a girl after getting her phone number. Like this was very much that,
Yeah.
but different.
Yeah.
But I really hope for this show, and again, it's going to piss off the purists. I hope Emil is sincere in helping Jen.
I think he is. I think he's established enough. If he was going to turn on her, I think it already would have happened.
Yes, because he could have at any goddamn time,
Especially in Gen form.
yes.
That's why I was
And
like, God, please don't attack her now that she's in Gen form. And they
yeah,
didn't, so they didn't fall for it.
no, but and okay, now for as happy as I was to be right that Josh was working for the bad guy,
Yeah, you call that.
and exactly how and why he was trying to mess with her,
He wanted
uh,
a poker.
yeah, figuratively and literally.
Winking eye.
But again, now we're wondering who Hulk King is, so that's going to be our big bad.
Yeah.
My money's still on Mallory Book,
Okay.
or Mallory Book's husband.
It's well, I'm feeling like it should be somebody we've already met. It
Yes,
shouldn't be somebody we've only heard of off of camera. It needs to be somebody we've seen already thus far in the show.
yeah,
If it's not, that is a big misstep on their part for doing that.
yes. Fuck, that's what Star Wars did. Jesus, and everybody fucking got pissed about that.
You're right.
Where like randomly they bring back Palpatine for fan service, and everyone went, "Hooray! Wait, this sucks."
Oh my god, if you get me started on that fucking movie, I'm gonna lose it. Because Skywalkers didn't win. Why do you call it Rise of the Skywalker? Palpatine's won. They killed all the Skywalkers. Palpatine won.
Yeah, kinda.
Even though she was kind of on the light side, she's still a Palpatine. She's not a Skywalker. That means they won. And it was a horrible movie unless you wanted horses on a spaceship. So
Yes. Yeah. The Lego game was fun though.
yeah, yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of those.
Okay, okay.
But
Abomaste.
Abomaste.
All right, cool.
Totally gonna fucking play as She-Hulk on Lego Marvel later. But yeah, I mean, since we're not gonna see Bruce again,
Yeah, I don't think we are.
I would really, really love it to see if yes, that gang did come to help back up Jen.
Oh, the Wrecking Crew entirely?
Maybe not the entire wrecking crew, but Blonsky and the support group, El
Oh,
Aguilar,
yeah.
Manbull. I think that would be precious.
That'd be a great opportunity to do more than just a bit and with them in an episode.
Yeah, and Porcupine, now that I think about it, reminds me of Sewer Urchin. from
I have
from
no clue.
Sewer Urchin was from The Tick,
Oh,
and he had like a scuba diving suit that
that does sound
that
familiar.
had spikes all over him, and
Yeah.
he talked like Rain Man,
Hmm.
and his power was to stink like Stinkor from
Yeah.
He-Man, and it's like whenever he'd come around, like nobody wanted to be around him. Villains, heroes, whatever.
Nobody. Yeah.
And he couldn't smell it because he had the mask on and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, I would love to see that group again.
Oh yeah.
If the whole series has been a Marvel team up, so if that's the way it's been, might as well end it that way. Jen needs to find herself within that community, like you said.
Yeah.
Not
I think
necessarily
so.
the supervillains, but superpowered people.
Right. I think that's well, that's supposed to be like her clientele and everything, and we've had very little of that.
Yep.
Like we have Mr. Immortal, but Mallory and Nikki took care of that. And
Mhm.
hell, we haven't even seen Pug in like what, 4 episodes now? I'm starting to wonder
Yeah,
what the hell's going on with the rest of the cast too.
really kind of disappointed in that. I mean, because it's like I've always said, I really like Josh Segarra, and
He's great.
they haven't utilized him enough. He's got a great character,
He must
totally
still be
great
standing in
character.
line for his shoes.
I would never ever do that. Anyway,
I'd stay overnight for a pair of tickets to something, but that'd be about it.
there was plenty of coffee and cocaine.
That'll keep you going.
um,
Unless you're hurting for a yurtin.
hurting for a yurtin. That makes me want to sing a hanker for a hunk of cheese. But I don't know what do you think they're going to do with the last 2 episodes? I'm thinking Jen's going to get her ass kicked. I'm hoping Jen's going to get her ass kicked at the reveal and then maybe fight back in the last episode.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you think it's going to go that way, or do you think it's going to go another filler and then finally a fight in the 9th episode?
No, I can't believe they would go all the way to the last episode for the reveal and the fight. That just seems incredibly poor decision making. I think next episode we have to have the reveal, and something needs to happen to her to where she has to decide, I'm not just a lawyer, I'm a Hulk, and I need to do something, like, because she's literally not doing anything at all other than moping around, getting her heart broke all the time by guys. Like we need to get beyond that. We need to get into the fucking court drama. Like this is what I thought what we were getting with this show. But I digress on that. I do think next episode we got to get the reveal. We got to have some sort of fight, getting her put down, and then in the last episode she needs to step up. We have a epic fight. Like to the level of episode 1 with Bruce and her training. We need awesome. We need to
Yes.
end with a bang. If you're not going to end with a bang, then don't come back for another season. So
Yeah.
I that's what I'm hoping for. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. But hey, I'm still enjoying the show. It's not like I'm not. So I'm hoping for the best, and I hope like when Daredevil shows up, he's not minimalized or anything like that. I don't think they will, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm crossing my fingers because I do like this show and I want to keep liking it.
Yeah,
But I don't want to get to the end and be like, well, that was not good. like,
yeah, like wow, that
you,
was disappointing.
like you said, yeah, like you want to build up a crescendo, like you said. You want it to be mind blowing, and I hope
All
this
right,
is. I really hope this is. If it's going to be that type of show at the end, it needs to be just that.
yeah,
Um, I would love it if if the if the big bad is not Mallory Book or related to her husband, the kid, or whatever, then it needs to be somebody just completely shocking, like Samuel Stearns, like we said, the leader.
mm-hmm.
Because like I don't know, they're not winning me just yet. Like the
Yeah.
fight with the wrecking crew was really short. That could have been a
That was
hell of a lot
very
better.
short. That was like not even a minute.
Yeah, it was short and it was dark. and they caused no trouble. Like the wrecking crew breaks shit everywhere they fucking go.
That's
That's
their
their
name.
gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're great in Captain America comics.
Oh, okay.
They were decent villains. Underutilized here up until this episode where we get the version of Wrecker that's, in the inner peace and self-help,
Right.
or willing to accept inner peace and self-help.
Right. Because today is today.
Yes. One of the things I wasn't expecting the ranch to be so green.
It was
Like
great.
I I was really expecting something like out in the desert,
Right.
like her, but it was a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. Like, how much money did these ladies pitch in for him?
These are some sweet digs. Like, and when she
Yeah,
was like leaving on the wrecker at the end of the episode, like she was going down this long winding road to the beach, and I'm like, where the hell are they? I'd love to go to a place like that, you know?
Malibu.
Yeah, right?
Um, either that or Santa Barbara. That's the only green area down there at best.
Well, the
The
show is
rest is
shot in
southern.
Georgia, but however they position this is, I have no idea.
Yeah, but I don't know. The ranch was a hell of a lot nicer than I expected it to be, almost palatial.
Yeah,
And it worked. It all worked though. I can't complain.
no,
Other than just be kind of weirded out that it was so green there. Like there's not that many trees in California, in Southern California.
yeah, no. I lived in San Diego for a few years,
Yeah.
and yep,
See, you know everything's dead there.
yeah, including everybody's souls.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, but it's true though.
It is.
And God God help me, at the beginning of this episode where they were kind of ripping off Chef with the tweets popping up in different areas.
Oh yeah.
I kind of liked that song. I may have to look that up and see what it was, because the soundtrack to this series has been pretty good too.
Oh, you mean when the timeline was going as she was waiting for the text messages?
Yeah.
Bop, isn't that Hanson?
No, 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 no. Before that, when she was going
Oh,
out on a date with Josh.
oh, that song. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, really, and if he would have,
I know
if
the
he would
one
have,
stupid song.
the one stupid song, everyone knows the one stupid song, which, anyway,
We don't want to get
we're not
demonetized.
going to go to that.
No.
Yeah, if you say it one more time. Oh, no, but I mean, at the very least, despite the lengthiness of it and the angst, it was the beginning scene with her getting happy and then screwed over was relatable. Like everybody's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
been there. So, like, you feel for Jen. Jen is a sympathetic character, and
Oh
and
yeah.
and that part is done really well. But
Right.
like you said, and me personally, Spider-Man 2 out of the Raimi trilogy is the best of the pictures. However, it's one of my less favorites at the same time, because it's just like it's 2 hours of Peter getting shit on and then he fights. It's
Yeah.
like I can't sit and watch somebody get shit on for that long. Same thing with Meet the Fockers. I didn't find that funny in one bit. Like, okay, this guy's getting dumped on for 2 fucking hours. I'm done. Like, why
Right.
hasn't he killed someone yet or said fuck you, fuck you, fuck you?
Too many
Sorry,
fucks to
Disney. I
give.
didn't mean to flip all those birds.
Ah, that's okay. I'm not gonna censor this.
They can bite my butt.
Yep.
Those damn Disney lawyers. But
And so can
um,
Josh.
Josh, yeah, fuck him.
He did.
If that is your real name. God, them wanting to kill Josh.
That was hilarious.
I loved that. I
Josh
loved
is
that.
dead. Where is he at? We're gonna kill him. Like, how dare he do that to you? I mean, there like we've said, there is a lot of good on this episode. If you can get past the fact that it is largely a filler episode. Man, if they cut out like half the filler stuff and just made that its own little She-Hulk little portion of the show, and then you just had the storylines all just kind of pushed together, you could probably have two separate sections of this show, one for the main story and then one for all the fun little antics off to the side, and just kind of spread it out so you can get more straight to the point, and then you could have like the side stories.
Yeah. My hope is that come episode 9, there are no side stories. Everything comes together like a Saw movie almost. Like everything happening at the same time or everything happening for a reason. This
And
happens
somebody
for
loses
this.
a foot because they had to cut it off themselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Even though they didn't think about cutting the pipe or the cuffs.
Or the cuffs, yeah.
Yeah, which is what that saw was actually made to cut. Um,
Just saying.
I don't know tools, but I know destruction.
Yep.
Uh, which is what I want from a Hulk series. I want more destruction.
Yeah, like this is Hulk. And even she made the joke, Hulk smash.
Yeah, yeah, and she got really good at they're getting better at the special effects of her shifting in forms.
I think so too. The
I
only one
think
that was a little jarring was when she ran up to Wrecker and grabbed him by the throat. That seemed a little awkward because the arm just kind of came up instead of like reaching out to him.
oh,
I don't
I'll
know.
have to
That just
rewatch
seemed a
that. I
little
was watching her
clunky.
feet because she was like stomping and storming. I was like,
Oh
fuck,
yeah.
she moves fast.
Yeah, that was good. It's just when she came up, she just came straight up like that instead of reaching out
Mm,
towards the throat. But I don't know. That's probably what they just had to do. But
yeah, just because of the way the stunt worked.
yeah.
But no, I totally lost it. Oh, I'm sorry. When she reverted back
Yeah.
after back to Jen after throwing Manbull, that that looked really neat.
Yeah, it did.
Having it the body shrink down into her, they did really well there.
Oh yeah. And as long as you apologize to the Prius Prime.
With money.
Oh, that reminds me of the joke that Mamble had at that whole point was when they're like, hey, can you help push this to the garage? And he's like, I'm not a mechanical bull. I'm a man bull. I'm
Yeah.
like, and they were like, dude, how long have you been waiting to say that? And everybody's looking at him like, dude, really? Like if there was a fourth wall break, that should have been it. And but her response was, yeah, that was kind of forced. Like it wasn't good. And he's like, oh man, really?
You too? I just met you.
Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, that was kind of forced.
Yeah, like I don't know that we'll ever see that particular kind of group again in the MCU.
Probably
But
a good thing.
yeah, it was kind of a shining moment for these supervillains. To
Yeah.
see all so many supervillains at one time is neat. Doesn't matter that they were all D-listers. It was still really neat.
Well, and all working on their anger management issues.
Yes.
Although I don't think we saw what Saracen's anger issue was, other than he's just a vampire who probably just wants to suck everybody's blood.
But you realize he was right that he was after Josh, or Josh was after Jin's blood.
Yeah.
and
And
everyone's telling,
tasty.
yeah, no, it's not that. Yeah, it was.
Well, yeah, and then you got Wrecker trying to apologize, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, that's right.
Okay, so yeah, okay, there was something else we need to talk about. Why plot hole didn't Record just be like, oh yeah, by the way, so and so hired us to get your blood. Someone's after you to get your blood. Like, seems like fucking information they should probably pass along.
Yeah. I mean, when they were doing it previously on, because I was watching it the second time, it didn't look like him, but from like a distance, one of the other crew members did look a little like Josh.
Oh, really?
It probably wasn't, but it had the same kind of like hairstyle and just there was enough of a distance, but when he got up close, I didn't think it looked like him anymore. But there was a shot because it was pretty frantic with the cutting. One of them, I'm like, wait, was that Josh too? But I think if that was him, I think she would have recognized because she had a pretty good view of all four of them, and she recognized Wrecker like immediately. But for a split second, I'm like, oh my God, what if Josh was one of them and he's still like working on them? But
Yeah, right.
but that's a very good question. Like, why didn't he just tell her like, hey, we got hired? But it might go back to the whole intelligentsia, I think it was called, and
Yeah.
she's just like, I don't care what some losers on the internet think about me. It could be just more like, whatever. I don't. She probably didn't think too much of it, and he probably got fired from the job. So he's like, fuck this shit anyway.
Yeah, right. Failure is not tolerated.
Yeah, like the boss isn't going to be happy about this, at the end of that, and it's like, yeah, maybe they got canned, and that's why he's like, you know what, I need help. Abomaste.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was probably just lazy writing, is what that
Yeah,
was. I very much doubt that they're gonna have an answer for that in the next two episodes. Like
there's a
at this
lot of plot to fill in.
yeah, there's a lot more to do other than go back and say, oh yeah, by the way. Because I mean, they're gonna do a fair amount of that. You're probably right. Josh might have been one of the wrecking crew with a mask on. Because didn't one of them have a beanie on?
Oh
Or
God,
a snow mask? I don't remember.
I I don't remember. That's an excellent question.
I want to say one of them looked like fucking oh god, what the kid from Fat Albert, the that had the fucking the hat down over his
Oh,
face and all you could see was his eyes. The ski mask.
oh God.
Rerun. He looked like Rerun.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I know shit. Um this is in no way an endorsement of Bill Cosby. But I don't know. I they really need to show flashback stuff. Like next episodes could probably gonna be a lot of flashback. And oh, didn't you notice this? Oh, didn't you notice that?
Yeah. It's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do previously on one more time, everybody.
Right.
And we're gonna
And
go through everything with Titania because she's not even in this episode.
yeah, I see, and I'm curious about that. I don't think we're done seeing Titania either.
No, that's I'm getting more just the more we think about it, it's like there's a lot to wrap up. And it's just making more confusion than actually anything making a logical sense.
Yeah. So it's it's exactly what you said. There is a lot to wrap up if they're going to wrap things up as opposed to have a cliffhanger for next season
All right.
or leading into a movie,
Yeah.
which I don't think that they're going to do.
Or a spin-off called Abomination. Not or Abomination.
Abomaste. It's going to be our new motto.
I would watch a show with Tim Roth as the lead doing anger management
Oh yeah,
for like all of like the DC listers, B listers, whatever. I think,
yeah,
if you can't give us the She-Hulk in a court case, give us Abomination doing anger management control.
yeah. I think that would be fucking fantastic.
I mean, and we made the joke about Wongers and Madison. I'd watch a show about her. I'd watch like this is the perfect show to set up all the other fun shows that could probably deliver more of the comedy and the things that we want to see.
Yeah, and it's brought us some neat shit so far. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's really undeniable.
right.
It's done some, and again, the purists aren't gonna like it. Benedict Wong fucking got to shine in this. His character was a little different than normal,
Yeah,
but he was able to do more and play more, and I bet he had a lot more fun too.
Wongers.
Like I don't see anyone being on this set and not having fun.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
completely agree. Everybody does look like they're having a blast.
yeah, other than stuntmen having harnesses in their yin yangs and whatnot, being castrated.
Yeah, right.
All right, pull up. uh, I want to say you'd never get me in one of those, but I totally fucking wear one. I want to fly, bitches.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but at least it's still keeping me interested. So,
Yeah, it's I'm still enjoying what I see. It's the final grade that I'm worried about. I want to give it a high grade,
yeah.
and we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe the next two episodes are blow away crazy good, and it's like, okay, okay. You didn't need to waste a big chunk in the middle on a bunch of this, that, or the other, but you at least stuck the landing. So
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah,
of what I'm hoping for. And Marvel has proven they can nail it in the last episode or two. I just would prefer they get away from that kind of formula.
yeah, because it didn't work in Loki. It felt very forced and rushed. Like that could have been drawn out into 2 episodes and been just fucking amazing.
Oh, you mean more in like a limited series or as a movie, maybe? Or
No, just where they, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but when they get to the end of their journey, like it's just it fucking ends like that.
oh, okay.
Like there was a 2 minute fight, epic battle,
Jeez.
and they just kind of end it. And it's like
Yeah,
that should have been more. There should have been so much more to that. There was
yeah.
more of a story between Loki and Sylvie than what they could really showed.
Okay. Yeah, full disclosure, I haven't made it through Loki yet, but
I'm just saying it's good, but you'll know what I'm talking about come the end.
oh yeah. I mean, I do intend on, we got our next podcast episode coming up, so my focus is a little bit more on our show that we're coming up with next and doing like She-Hulk in between and trying to squeeze in an Andor episode here or there. But largely, once we're through our next podcast episode, I'm gonna fire up Loki and I'm gonna try and get through that and Falcon and Winter Soldier because I guess that plays a part too in what's coming up. So we'll see.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna
Oh,
watch What If though. I've been told there's only like two good episodes in that.
yes, that's correct. And one of them has Chadwick Boseman in it,
Hmm.
and that one was really good actually.
I heard the Ultron episodes are great.
That I haven't seen yet,
Yeah,
but if is Spader voicing Ultron again?
I don't know, but I've heard that the story is actually really, really good because I guess it's Ultron gets the Infinity Stones instead of
Thanos?
Thanos, and it's really cool. So I do want to see that. I'm not so much in. Yes, I like my zombies and horror movies. I'm not so much into the Marvel zombie thing.
No.
That doesn't grab me. I mean, for DC, I did like Blackest Night. That was about as close to what I'm willing to put up with as far as zombies in a comic book series, though.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I'm not a I wasn't on the zombie train in the 2000s
Yeah.
or in the noughties as they call them. Yeah. I liked the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Hmm.
Diary of the Dead was pretty good, but beyond that, it's like no, I'm not. I got zombied out really fast.
Yeah, that's
So
understandable.
so like the Walking Dead comics were never my thing at all.
Yeah.
So that and I like bright colors and shit. And there should be red, a whole lot of red in those comics.
See, you say that, and I'm like, the first thing I think of is you want bright and colorful zombies? Zombieland.
Oh, that movie's that's yeah.
That's delightful.
Yeah, for a zombie flick, that one that was my favorite movie that came out that year. And
I like that.
it's probably my favorite intro to a movie too.
Oh God, yeah, right.
They had me at Metallica and just kept getting more and more brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty pleased with that one. I still haven't seen the second one, but I've been told you're not really missing anything.
Yeah, I like the first one.
Yeah. All right,
So
Kevin, any other thoughts on She-Hulk number 7?
no, I just I wish this was number 6 and we had 3 more episodes still.
Yeah, I mean, they could have cut out the wedding and just gone straight to this episode.
Yes, the fight with Titania felt more like filler at this point than actual plot progression. And
Couldn't agree.
I hope that's not true.
Yep. Well, I guess we will find out.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, we picked apart that 20 minutes more than we could possibly imagine.
Yeah, we doubled the length of every every episode of She-Hulk except episode 1.
That's why we're good at this.
Yep. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week for She-Hulk 8, Abomaste.
Abomaste.
Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at sunsandshadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.